Welcome to the Color of Influence podcast, where you will hear stories from amazing people of color from around the world, from social media, and right here in our communities. Their stories will inspire you, encourage you, and motivate you. I am your host, Aisha Morgan, and let's meet today's guest. Welcome everybody to the podcast. We are coming to the end of April, which is Women's History Month. We have had some amazing women on the podcast this month. This month was the debut of The Color of Influence. And I must say, thank you, not only to my guests that I had this month, but to my audience as well. You all showed me that the change was a good change, and believe it or not, this month I have had the most views in a month outside of my episode with Benjamin and Celebrity Vendetta, meaning in the month. So there are other podcast episodes that have lots of views, but in the first month, those 4 episodes that we have for March were the most viewed episode in a month. So thank you all. Thank you to my guests. I had Marissa on, who talked about Target While Black, which is a podcast, which is an Instagram page. So check out that episode. That is episode 2 from The Color of Influence, as well as Tara, who has a great film coming out called Dry Bones. And if you follow my social media, definitely click the links that are in my story. There's still time to donate. So we really need to support this film. They need financial support to finish the film and to get it out there to the masses. So let's do our part and donate. If you are unable to donate, please let someone else know about the pledges and where they can go to support this film. And then we had on Dira talking about her book, All About the Re. She also talked about yoni steaming. I always say stemming, yoni steaming. So check out that episode if you have not. And then I did re-air my episode with Tara about Dry Bones because I'm very passionate about this film and helping her raise money to get this film up and running. So thank you to all 3 of my guests this month. And if you have not checked out any of those episodes, please go back and check them out. And please let other people know all about the podcast. In other news with the podcast, so I tested out Thursday. Why did I test out Thursday as my air date? Because I was posting on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I tried out Tuesdays, went to Wednesdays. Both of them had great, downloads on their day. But then Thursday, I would get another jump of views. So I figured, well, let me just post on Thursdays. It'll give me a little bit more time to promote the podcast, as well as time to edit, during the week. So I'll move it to Thursdays. Funny enough, yes, people tuned in on Thursday, but more of you still tuned in on Tuesday and Wednesday. So starting in April, I will be going back to posting on Wednesday. You guys love Wednesday. Tuesday was a very close second, but you seem to love having the episodes on Wednesdays. So I'm going to give it back to y'all and post it on Wednesdays. It's fine with me. I just try to be flexible. But I think that you guys like Wednesday. So we're going to stick with posting on Wednesday. Now, along with changing the date, I have also changed my podcast host. So I was with Podbean. If you have looked at any of my other episodes, you'll notice that at the end of my show notes, there is a link for you to join Podbean and to start your podcast on their site. So now I am on PodPal, and we are actually going to have the creator of PodPal on the podcast in a later episode. It is a Black-owned company that hosts podcasts. It's a site to host podcasts. You can do editing, you can do video. There are a lot of features that they are working on right now to help podcasters be a one-stop shop. And I decided to switch over to PodPal because I support all Black businesses, and just wanted to be there to support, their platform. I am excited to see where they go with their site. Like I said, they are in the beginning stages of the site. So some of the features they are still working on, but I'm happy to be able to support the platform early on. If you are someone who is looking to start a podcast, I encourage you to join the site. They do have free options where you can, get to know the platform, post episodes. So please go and check it out, podpal.com. And yeah, head on over there. So I have continued with my cold emails, meaning emailing people that I do not know. It's hard, but I'm sticking to it. I do have some episodes that are going to post in April that were done earlier this year. It's funny because we did all female guests for Women's History Month. And surprisingly enough, you guys know that the podcast has historically had several female guests. But next month, all of our guests are men. Not on purpose. It was just the way they responded, the way the interviews happened. And so April, we will be talking to my friend Anthony. We will be talking to my friend Chris. We will be talking to a very good family friend named Hassan will be on the podcast. We also have episodes with Zav, who is the voice and the face behind Plant-Based Brother. Check him out on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And then we'll have the creator of PodPal, Aaron Woods, on the podcast. So very much a loaded cast that are loaded guest lists that are coming up. So I'm very excited about these episodes. Some were recorded before I became the Color of Influence podcast, but nonetheless, you will learn some great things from these men. I am excited for you all to hear these episodes, and yeah, it's gonna be fun-filled April going into May. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm trying to think, y'all. I mean, so to kind of close out today, not going to be a long episode. I really would love y'all's feedback. There are a handful of people who consistently interact with me on social media, whether it be on my posts, whether it be sending me messages, responding to polls, responding to my stories, very interactive with me on social media. But I honestly would really love to know, like, where do you guys check out my content? Are you Facebook? Are you TikTok? Are you Twitter or Instagram? I will say that I am heavy on the Instagram because that's the platform that I'm the most comfortable with. However, what are y'all heavy on? Like, are y'all always on TikTok? Are you Twitter users? Are you like me and you're an Instagram user, or are you on Facebook? I would really love to hear from y'all, to tell me, you know, not only where do you check out my content, but where do you go to check out other people's content? Do you go to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or is there another platform? I'm just interested to know where you guys check out information, um, so that, I can hop on those platforms if I'm not already there and interact with y'all as well. Um, you know, as I said, I've been doing a lot of cold email sending, to potential guests to be on the podcast. But I don't want you guys to feel like you can't send me guests. Please, please, please continue to send me your recommendations or send them my way. They can contact me on all social media platforms at The Color of Influence. And then they can also email me at thecolorofinfluence@gmail.com. Also, making this transition to The Color of Influence has kind of sparked a lot of different things in my head about what I want for this podcast, what I want for The Color of Influence, not just the podcast. I want to make this a brand, y'all. This is really something that I've given a lot of thought to, first of all. So making that change, I knew the direction that I wanted to go in for the podcast, but The Color of Influence is going to be a brand. It's going to be hopefully a household name. It is going to be a household name. Let me go ahead and claim that now, where you get content from me. You have people who contact me to be on the podcast, to promote themselves, to promote their brands. I would love to do speaking engagements and just talking about different things with high schoolers and college students and whoever, anyone. I would really love to host conferences and just different things to bring people of influence together, people of color specifically. But I would love to have a place, not just through social media, not just through, the podcast, not just through YouTube. I would love to have an actual place where people can come to network with each other. The Color of Influence is about bringing people of color together. So that is my purpose. I'm standing on that purpose offline and online. And I would love to get your input. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link in the show notes, in the description, for you all to click on, and it will take you to my website. And on my website, I'm going to link there a questionnaire. So it'll be a Google Doc where you guys can give me all this information. You're going to tell me, where do you mostly spend your time? So social media wise, are you TikTok? Are you Instagram? Are you Facebook? Are you LinkedIn? Surprisingly enough, lots of podcasters are on LinkedIn and get guest requests on LinkedIn. So give me that information. What do you want to see from the podcast? Would you like to see some live content? So interviews that are face-to-face as opposed to virtual from YouTube. Would you like to see me do a live event? Meaning I am interviewing a guest in front of like a live audience. Something that I've given some thought to. I am interested in doing that. And I would love to know, are you guys interested in attending? And are you interested in watching that? Meaning, on YouTube. Obviously, I am a one-woman show, so it will be kind of some trial and error if I were to do that. But I can do it. There are lots of ways that I can make that happen. Thankfully, I know lots of people in different places where I can make that happen. So again, that questionnaire is going to be in the description of this episode. I will also post a link on Instagram. Sorry, y'all. That's just where I live right now. I live on Instagram. For you to be able to click and go to the questionnaire as well. So, yes, I want this podcast to be very interactive. I know it's hard when you're just listening to my voice and you're just watching me on YouTube or on social media in some way. But interacting with me on social media is just a joy. So I love that y'all are viewing my videos, but leave me a comment, leave me a review on whatever platform you are viewing or listening to the podcast. Leave me a comment. Rate the podcast on all platforms. It is very beneficial to me as a host to know where y'all are listening. If you're enjoying it, what you enjoy about the episodes, what you enjoy about the podcast as a whole. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would leave me some comments, likes, reviews, subscribe. Please subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform that you are listening. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. All of those are the color of influence. And they're also linked in the show notes, the description of the podcast episode. They are on my website. So, like I said, I would be grateful if you all would now start interacting with me. I like to know who's listening to the podcast. I like to know what I can do for you guys, what you enjoy about the podcast. So I'm always open, to dialogue about the podcast episodes. What did you like about the episode? Is there anything that you took away from it that, you will continue to utilize? Target While Black, is that a page that you follow? Let me know. I love when y'all comment and interact with me through social media, through messages. It's very much appreciated. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this week's episode. I cannot wait for you guys to hear these April episodes. They are fire. You will laugh, you might cry, you are going to learn something. It is going to be a great April. So that is this week's episode. I told you it was going to be short and sweet, but I did want to touch base with y'all to give you some information about the podcast, where we're going, and all the greatness that is happening. Again, interact with your girl. I am here on all platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, all the great things to let me know that y'all are there. You are much appreciated, and have a great rest of y'all's week. Peace out. And that's a wrap on another amazing episode. I know you were just as inspired as I was after hearing today's guest. And to let us know how we're doing, leave us a review, like, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also follow us on all social media platforms, from Facebook to YouTube at The Color of Influence, and on Instagram, the_color_of_influence. And our website is still the same, theblackgirlblogger.com, where you can check out all of our episodes as well. And don't forget to share the podcast with someone you know and have them share it with someone that they know. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, peace out.